Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toyscapades channel. Today, I'm checking out another classic episode of the Transformers G1 cartoon. This one's the first episode of Season 3, The 5 Faces of Darkness, Part 1. Now this is the one that kicks off the entire saga of the Transformers from the future time of 2005. Well, 2005 is now in our distant past, but when the episodes came out in 1987, 2005 was the promise of a better tomorrow. Turns out, things didn't change all that much. Countries are still divided, nations are still at war, people are still starving, cars still don't fly, and all we really got was social media, portable digital entertainment, and vanity on a global scale. So hey, Season 3 takes place after the events of the 1987 Transformers animated movie. And the thing about the movie was that it was something that probably only the savvy and cool kids back then knew anything about. See, it sure never played in a lot of cinemas outside of the US. And back then, the only other way to catch it was probably through something like a bootleg VHS tape. Now, I remember watching it at a friend's place in late 1987 and wondering if what I was seeing was a dream. I had never known characters in a cartoon to be massacred on such a large scale any time before then. Now, for the longest time, I thought the whole thing was some off-continuity nightmare. And then Season 3 came about and I realized that everything I saw was real. Very real. Anyway, the start of the first episode does give you a brief recap of the events of the movie's end. But for the most part, if you never saw the movie, you'd be left wondering what happened to warm and colorful characters like Powerglide's girlfriend from Season 2. So the episode begins, and just like the title suggests, everything is seeped in darkness, at least for the Decepticons. Now they were the clear losers of the war, and it's explained that the survivors have retreated to the burned out planet of Char. Get it? Burned out? Charred? Anyway, the cons are living pretty much like robot derelicts, scavenging for whatever scraps of energon are left, literally fighting and killing for it. But then, Cyclonus and the Sweeps turn up, and somehow, these guys look minty fresh. Clearly, they've been eating well. So Cyclonus is a dick to the plight of the fellow Decepticons and convinces them to donate whatever little energon food they have left to be used in the effort to reawaken Galvatron, aka their former leader, aka the artist formerly known as Megatron. Elsewhere, things look cheerful for the Autobots, and they are celebrating their victory by hosting an intergalactic sports event among the winning races of the universe. Ultra Magnus gives a typically sanctimonious opening speech before new Autobot leader Rodimus Prime, aka the Brat formerly known as Hot Rod, just tells him to get on with the show. A couple of subplots also get established. Why? Because this damn thing is 5 full parts. It's 5 faces of darkness, and we get a different face of darkness for each part. Just kidding, it's just 5 parts. Anyway, Perceptor sends Wheelie and Blur on a mission to Autobot City to deliver a transformation cog. This device is the thing that is supposed to allow the city to transform into the behemoth and much sought after 80's playset from Hasbro toys known as Metroplex. But why was the cog separated in the first place? No idea, but we suspect plot device. Anyway, Perceptor sends the 2 Autobots with unique speech quirks. One talks in rhymes and the other at the speed of light. So depending on your preference, this is either a dream team-up or one that will have you reaching for the mute button on your player. Okay, wait, so before I get roasted in the comments section, Perceptor does explain that the transformation cog was damaged during the Great War, but it still seems like a tacked-on quest to have these 2 wordsmith Autobots travel all the way to deliver it in person. Okay, so my favorite bit of the cartoon comes up next, where we see the Quintessons in shadow and plotting their attack on the Autobots. The Quintessons are, of course, these tentacled soccer balls we saw introduced in the movie, each with 5 rotatable heads and who fancy themselves a form of court of law on the universe and play judge, jury, and executioner. But what's their beef with the Transformers? One of the Quintessons says my favorite line: Autobots, you walk the thin line between glory and despair. Today, you shall cross it. Whoa, the writing in the new season is really something else. Turns out the Quintessons have a secret agent on the ground who's sort of a weird looking alien terrorist assassin with the voice of Starscream, who sets off a series of bombs to disrupt the sporting event and plunge the proceedings into chaos. But wait, while the plot and dialogue is pretty top notch for an 80s cartoon series, the animation sure looks wonky in places. I'm especially calling out this one scene where Quintesson Hit Squad drops down to the planet in an egg-shaped craft. The Autobots are blasting at it, but the way the craft is animated, it looks like a pebble falling through the sky. Then this tiny rock-like structure lands, and you see several mysterious-looking figures crawling out. At first, I thought that these were robotic midgets. It turns out they are Quintesson soldiers who are about the normal size of an Autobot robot. Seriously, the uninspired animation does a terrible job of capturing the scale of the environment and the things in it. So in the chaos and gunfire, the enemy combatants capture Spike, Ultra Magnus, and Cup, and the Autobots vow revenge. Rodimus is convinced that the Decepticons are responsible for the attack and plans to head to Char to investigate. Elsewhere, Cyclonus and the Sweeps descend into Unicron's floating head, which just happens to be spinning across the galaxy, to access the databanks and find out what happened to Galvatron's body after his battle with Rodimus in the movie. They calculate the trajectory of where his body might have crashed, and Cyclonus asks Scourge to spy the planet. Somehow, Scourge has the ability to see halfway across the universe by just focusing his optics. Anyway, they find that Galvatron is on some planet that looks like a hot spa for robots, complete with steaming lava pools. But we see Galvatron's hand conveniently sticking out of one of the pools, doing nothing but just sticking out there. After all this time, you would think his entire body would have descended into the depths, but no, he's ready to lend a hand. The episode ends with Rodimus and Grimlock on the planet Char and spying on the Decepticons, and realizing that with how bad the cons are looking, it doesn't seem likely that they could have planned the attack. Now this scene is a bit comical to me, primarily because Rodimus brought a T-Rex on a stealth recon mission. I mean, I'm not saying that the Triceratops or the Brachiosaurus would have been better, but come on guys, it's a freaking T-Rex. How do you keep things incognito? Also, maybe it's the fact that the Season 3 animators always captured Grimlock in his creature mode, and you almost never see him in robot form in any of the episodes. So he kind of always stands out. Now the whole thing ends on a cliffhanger with Grimlock typically drawing attention to himself and bringing about a counterattack by the Decepticon forces. All in, Season 3 was the start of a wildly uneven tone in the series animation, but also delivered some of the best plots and storylines the cartoon has ever seen. Before the series would wrap, we would see episode contributions from legendary comic book writers such as Jerry Conway and Marv Wolfman. So hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and please do subscribe to my Retro Toy Escapades channel for more classic pop culture content. And let me know if you want to see more classic Transformers reviews. I might even do part 2 of the 5 Faces of Darkness if I'm not low on Energon. See you guys later.